And tomorrow, 26 women from Indigenous nations across Canada will compete in the first ever Miss Indigenous Canada pageant. The three-day event is judged on skills like essay writing and community presentation rather than looks. And one of the contestants is in the spotlight tonight. Ocean Bruyere is a mother, teacher and model who will be competing in the pageant. And she joins me tonight from Winnipeg. Ocean, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I want to ask you more about this unique pageant, but first of all, I just want to ask you, how are you feeling?
I was feeling super excited yesterday. Today, I'm feeling a bit more nervous because the countdown is really coming and my flight is at 5 a.m. in the morning. And so, yeah, my nerves are a little bit up there.
Understandable, as one would, especially because this is the first one. Tell me, you weren't raised in your own culture. You had to learn about it later in life. What is the importance of you participating in the pageant, given that personal history?
Well, it's important because my truth is a shared truth against or among a lot of Indigenous people my age and even younger. Even students that I work with as young as like 8 years old are still just learning about their culture for the first time, whether that be with people that we bring in or through me or our other Indigenous ways of life teachers. And so it's important because to, shine that light on the love of our culture, the richness of our culture, but also to demonstrate to non-Indigenous people on how beautiful our culture is and how well it's thriving as time goes on.
Ocean, I want to ask you, one of the criticisms going against any beauty pageants is that they focus on beauty in women, which in the year 2024 seems demeaning, outdated and patronizing towards women, that they objectify women. Tell me about how this pageant is different. You're certainly a beautiful young woman, but that it's about more than that. Tell me about that aspect of it.
So the pageant isn't based on beauty. It's actually based on leadership, community involvement, your cultural involvement, and self-development. And so it's, and I feel like it's geared towards those specific things because in our way of life, an Indigenous way of life, those seem to be like some of our core values about community, about uplifting our nations, about thinking about our future, our youth. We have a teaching in our culture where we always think about the 7 generations before and the 7 generations after. And we specifically have that value because our people or my ancestors understood that the actions that we make today impact the past, present, and future, whether that be in a good way or in a bad way. But through this pageant, I think it's going to make a lot of good impact on all of our communities across the nation.
Ocean, tell me, you're a mother, you're a teacher, you're somebody who is keenly aware of how what you do impacts the younger generation. As you just said, you wanted to think about 7 generations coming after you. What is the message that you hope your children or children that you teach, whether they're Indigenous or not, take out of this?
I think my message is that that no matter what your circumstances are in life, that you have the power within you to make your life much different, or be that leader, or be whatever you want to be. My childhood dream was actually to be a model, and I didn't think that was capable with the upbringing that I had and the circumstances that I was faced with. But walking the way of life of my culture, my ancestors, provided me a lot of hope, provided me foundation, community, values, which opened up a lot more doors for me, being able to chase after my dreams and be a leader and be a helper in the community. And so I feel like when my own kids look at me, or the kids that I work with look at me, they can see themselves in me because some of them come from the same circumstances, or some of them feel inspired by being able to like participate and be proud of who they are, where they come from. Yeah.
That's a wonderful answer. And just while I still have you, what do you want other people who are not Indigenous, including many new Canadians who are just learning about this country, what do you want them to take out of this if they're watching this pageant?
I think that it's really important for non-Indigenous people and newcomers to Canada understand that when you come to Canada or you consider yourself a Canadian, you're also taking a partnership in our treaties. And the treaties are a relationship between Indigenous people and non-Indigenous people to walk along one side, alongside each other to make this place what it is. You know, there's a lot of issues within Canada around Indigenous people with, you know, not having clean drinking water, our MIW inquiry, and you know, there's lots of other things, but, you know, we're always advocating for ourselves. We also need allies and we need helpers to also help us in our journeys when it comes to fighting for our injustices. So having that healthy relationship and understanding that, like, non-Indigenous people have a part to play in our treaties, and that's building relationships with Indigenous people and honoring our way of life.
Ocean, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. You certainly seem very composed to me. You might be nervous, but you're not showing it. And I hope you get some sleep as well.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck. Ocean Bruyere is a mother, teacher, and model who will be competing in the first ever Miss Indigenous Canada pageant.